stubborn, though, Mayor Ford, is you always know what you're going to be thinking the next day. God love you. Take care of yourself now. Didn't go that good, did it? I only came up to say, put the plug in the jug, keep the muzzle undug, and for God's sake, take the cotton wool out of his ears and put it in his mouth.
Oh, no, yeah, Mary Walsh just wanted to talk to Mayor Rob Ford in Toronto and tell him everything that he should be doing. Of course, she ambushed him. If you're not familiar with this story, that's Mary Walsh dressed up as Marg Delahunty, warrior princess, ambushing Rob Ford, the mayor of Canada's biggest city, at his home early in the morning. Shows up unannounced, jumps out of a dark blue SUV and chases him with the camera. Ford told reporters at City Hall later on that he was pretty upset about it.
Came out of my house and I was ambushed. It was pretty dark still, and my daughter was with me. And these two people, there was a black Jeep or something outside of my door, and I was, sort of looked at it, but cars, sometimes park there, sometimes don't. And then two people didn't identify themselves, came running up. They tried to get in my car, and they stopped me from getting in the car. And there was a lady dressed up. Never saw her. She was screaming my name. "We got you, Rob Ford. We got you." And my daughter was, she was scared, so she went back in, and so I tried to get out. My car door was open, and they were blocking me, so I couldn't get in or out of my car. Like, I was basically locked. So I had to get my way out, and then went back in the house, called 911. I didn't know who they were, and obviously I've had death threats. And there was a camera and a mic, and it wasn't any of you guys, so I knew, I'm open to games. I have no problem, you know what I mean? And I'm open to the media. But when you come to my private house early in the morning and ambush me, I think that crosses the line. And I just told the police, and we'll take it from there. But the next time they should just call and say, "I want to meet you down here, and if you want to play a joke down here, that's fine. But don't come to my house with my kids. My kids are my wife are the closest things to my, and I'll do anything to protect them." So I just hope someone else doesn't do that again.
All right, will CBC do it again? Well, I don't know about that, but they're not apologizing for it. In fact, they're saying they did nothing wrong. Is that the case? Mark Bonakoski. Bono joins us now. Mark, you've been in the public eye a long time. Have you ever shown up unannounced at a politician's house to ambush them and pull a prank and yell at them while they've got their kids with them?
Well, no, but I have showed up at their house unannounced. But of course you do that, but not as a prank, no. And this, for the CBC to assume that everybody knows 22 minutes, and everybody knows Mary Walsh and what they do is wrong too. I mean, Rob Ford's there with his child. Some lunatic jumps out of a thing. She's a knight, wielding a sword. You could ride the subway in Toronto for a week and see 4 or 5 Marg Delahunties on the street. We have a city that's got some eccentric characters.
Yeah.
He just had a death threat. It's early in the morning. I mean, it's not that dark out, but I don't know, from the camera, maybe it was darker. And he can't, he's being blocked. It's just wrong. I mean, I looked at the Toronto Sun website today. There's about 500 comments on the story, which is a lot. And most of them are people saying, well, can he take a joke? Can he do this? Blah, blah. Rob Ford's a target for the left. The CBC just loves to get him. He's an uncomfortable man in public. He knows that he's been ridiculed. He knows that Now magazine ridiculed him by showing a picture of a very obese man on the front page, naked from the waist up, and making fun of him. I mean, he's a target for the left, and this was just, why don't we show up at Mary Walsh's house, for example, and pitch tents there and say it's all for a joke? Why don't we, as maybe you and I should get a bunch of people with the SUVs and find out where Bob Azumi lives, or
David Suzuki.
David Suzuki lives. Bob Azumi's a fisherman. Yeah. To see where David Suzuki lives, and drive up and down the street in SUVs all day and see what they think of that. See if they think that's funny.
Now, Joe Warmington has a column coming out in The Sun tomorrow, and we'll post a link to that on lillyspad.ca as soon as it's available. But he talked to Mary Walsh, and she said, well, I didn't see a daughter, so maybe he's hallucinating. That's the first bit of arrogance she shows. The next bit is in saying, I just wanted to tell him how to get his popularity back up. But she does admit she didn't call ahead of time. I mean, 22 minutes pranks a lot of politicians in public places, but they've also done things with politicians where they play along, where they call their office ahead of time and say, we want to do something. She admits she didn't call his office ahead of time. They didn't try to get him at City Hall and were rejected. They just showed up at his house first.
But the CBC spokesperson said they did try to get him, and he refused, and so they decided to ambush him.
Mary Walsh, we've got it on tape. Mary Walsh told Joe Warmington, we didn't try him. We tried him at his house first, then we went to City Hall and spoke to Doug.
The CBC spokesperson's lying, because it's in the story, one of the news stories, that they tried to get Ford on side to play a little joke, and he said he didn't want to do it.
So are you surprised that that's the way that they went? That they just said, let's prank the guy?
No, because he's the biggest target they have in Canada right now. I mean, as a person who's a conservative politician, Toronto is a very liberal city. You know, he's got to do things to bring the economy back. There's going to be some tough things done. He's an easy target, easy to ridicule.
Okay, why is he a target for people that don't live in the city? I don't live in the city. I can't figure out why people are constantly attacking him. It's not just disagreeing with his policies. It is attacking him.
Well, because he's become a national story. Because of the Liberal left, because of Margaret Atwood, because of the libraries, because of Now Magazine, what they did to him. All this stuff has put him out in the public eye. He's better known than any mayor in the city of Canada. He's better known across Canada than David Miller was when David Miller was mayor, because the left never talked about Miller the way they talk about Ford. Ford has become their whipping boy.
All right. Well, what do you think? Was it fair? Mark Bonikoski, thank you. Was it fair what they did to him? Is he just Rob Ford unable to take a joke? Did CBC go too far? Send us your thoughts. Byline at sunmedia.ca. Stick around. More to come.